Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission.
I think essentially what you're talking about is mentorship.
Mm.
And that's such a powerful thing. When I first came to China, I went as a single guy, didn't go through an organization. I was with Teen Mania Ministries back in the day in East Texas, which was around the corner from Tyler. It's actually Keith Green's old Last Days Ministries, headquarters. And they didn't have any long-term options though. Mm-hmm. So I said, I want to be a missionary. They said, we don't have anything for you. So I just went, bought a one-way ticket, ended up in China. Thankfully, God had arranged a small group of guys and women families. We called ourselves the Apostolic Missionary Team. Mm-hmm. This was our motto. We have done so much with so little for so long, we can now do anything with nothing.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of group of men specifically who mentored me. And should I have not had the Glenn, the Chuck, the Todd, the others, who knows? I would have been gone quickly. Yeah. They sewed into they were the marathon runners. Right. Passed me the baton. And when I got worn out on the side, I was like, water.
Yeah, that reminds me, we were part of this church when we were still just kind of getting our initial couple of years of training with YWAM and getting ready to move to Asia, but hadn't moved yet. We were, serving also with the local church while we were there in Colorado. And, they had quite a bit of a heart for missions, and they were doing a lot of different ways. It was a bigger church, and they also were doing a lot with YWAM. And they did it for a while, and they were really happy to have people from their church kind of go through some training with some different mission organizations and then send out that way and have that partnership between sort of the kind of professional missionaries, the professional organizations, and then what the church was passionate about doing, but the church didn't specialize in that, I guess, kind of specialists. And so as long as they were kind of relying on the specialty training in conjunction with their heart and vision, their people seemed to do pretty well being sent out and on the field and everything. It was complicated, but it worked.
Yeah.
But after a while, they kind of thought, hey, we're kind of big and stuff. I think we can do this. Essentially, let's train our own people in-house. Let's send them out in-house, and let's just do this. We think we can do it. We have a passion to do this. And so they got together, some young people, fired up. They thought they had a calling to missions and everything. And so they started to get them ready as best they could and everything. And they sent them out. I believe they went to Nepal. And they were there, just a few of them, just 2 or 3 people, and I'm not even sure exactly what all they were doing. But in Nepal, very quickly, unfortunately, one of the young men, maybe this is how we have less of them sometimes, he passed away in a motorcycle accident or something there. Yeah. It was really terrible and tragic. The whole church was like very sad and grieved by this. It was fairly soon after they got in country too. Okay. So, and they were just devastated. And but then the call went out like, let's go replace these guys. The team kind of came off because of the trauma of that. And they're like, let's go replace them. Let's go back. We're gonna go finish what they started. So they were all fired up. Get ready, go back again, and they didn't last a year. Within a year, there was about a half dozen people. They all left as well. They didn't make it much longer, even with this kind of strong call, from their brother that had passed away to go take over and to go carry it on. And again, coming back to this concept of balance, there was that like zeal.
Yeah.
And there was that kind of goal and a fire. But what we saw, and nothing against this church at all, but what we saw is when they kind of started to say, you know what, we're pretty big, we think we can train everybody ourselves. And they kind of stopped having as close of a partnership. They didn't remove the partnership, but as close of a partnership with YWAM and others that kind of specialized in training missionaries.
Yes, yeah.
We kind of quickly saw in this particular instance that the team that they sent didn't last. And then the second one, didn't last either. I don't know how the first one would have fared without the trauma, but it was still tough. And we just recognized a lot of their expectations weren't in the realm of what missions reality was. They went with whatever expectations. Maybe some of it was the glory and the adventure. I don't know. But without, kind of that balance of like preparation and also some kind of mentoring, some experience on the ground and before, some of that youthful zeal didn't carry forward very, very far. And they intended to be marathon runners. They intended to plan to work there, to be there for the long term, to send more and more people. And it seemed like it kind of broke down on the training side, but also, linked with anybody who had experience to say, you know what, some of the stuff you're going to face is normal, or especially in the case of a traumatic accident, how do we, does that change our mission? Probably not. we need to be more careful, or we need to realize, we're in a battle that can affect us, even physically, even unto death.
Missionary member care people. So what are you saying behind this? What's the balance you're talking about then? Are you saying we need more mentors? Are you saying we need parachurch organizations like YWAM? I mean, what's the balance you're alluding to here? Because Zeal is good. It's a good thing.
So
Zeal without knowledge.
I'll take it back then to where you talked about how this generation shares a lot in common with the previous generations of the mission generation, of that passionate about certain things and taking up the cause, slavery and trafficking and some, red light stuff.
Social justice.
Yeah, social justice issues. I would agree with that. And what I'm trying to say is, we have to be careful, because that zeal to be involved, to make a difference, does not equate success, or does not equate accomplishing that for the Lord. The Lord, he does whatever he wants, but he lets us be a part of that story. And sometimes we can blow it, and he's not tripped up by that, but he wants to do this together. And so sometimes it does stop the fullness of what he wants to see break through, when we're not doing our part. Yeah. And I think when you have that zeal alone, that's fantastic. And that's usually the starting point. But to see lasting impact and our own lives feel totally fulfilled and like I'm in my element, is getting that marathon aspect, getting that wisdom and experience aspect kind of joined together. So whether that's in a team where you've got different generations functioning together, whether it's in the training, you're hearing from seasoned people who have done it. They're not just theory. They've lived it. Practitioners, they've done it. They know what you're about ready to go through. You have no idea. Yeah. And they're able to prepare you as best you can. Your expectations are never 100%.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought. Also, you might want to check out this video here, and honestly, that one's not bad either. Make sure you subscribe to Missions Pulse by clicking the subscribe button right here, and also click that little bell button so you get notified every single time we post a new video.